We are constantly co-creating the idea of beauty. Whose body can be normal? How do we define that body? How do we value that body? My name is Athena Flott, and I'm an artist. A lot of my work explores femininity, body liberation, different body experiences. Thinking about what is normal and this kind of body hierarchy that we live in, and how to find joy and pleasure and empowerment when you live on this kind of spectrum. When I was in my early 20s, I went through a huge disruption to my identity because I was in an apartment fire. So I was burned and I had lots of skeletal injuries. There was a pretty intense period of reintegrating into society, but what I realized is there's a much longer and really unending and evolving process of understanding what it means to move through the world in a new body, in a changed body, in a body that is imperfect or different. For the last decade, it's been kind of coming to integrate the whole experience into the rest of my life and into my artwork. I was really trained to almost prioritize the bigger, more ideal version or form of a person. And since I left school, I have started to think about painting the surface of the body as more than just capturing color and value, and actually how do I capture or describe the texture of the skin? Because in my case, and with a lot of my friends, the texture and the kind of carved valleys and mountains that we see, they represent our histories, our experiences, what we survived. I started making body prints during the pandemic, and it was super interesting because I have painted myself before, so I've looked really deeply at my own skin and tried to describe it, but when I printed the skin, it totally was a different experience. It was like I saw myself in a totally new light. Because they're scalable, a lot of times I can go bigger, and then it's like we get to see ourselves larger than life, right? We get to take a piece of ourselves that we maybe have looked at as ugly, as something that's shameful, and then put it out there big, loud, and proud. I wanted to make a project in response to the mainstream portrayal of our experience, which is really based on harmful stereotypes, like the classic Freddy Krueger. There's lots of characters that are actually burn survivors, but they're portrayed as villains or monsters. And what I know is that all of my friends in this community are multifaceted, incredible humans. They're very ordinary. They're just like everyone else. And so I wanted to create the beginning of a new visual library and oral history. New Icons celebrates my community of people with visible differences from scarring, especially burn injuries. Everyone that I've painted is someone that's either been in my community for years or through the process of making the work together, we've gotten to know each other. One of the paintings is with my dear friend Carrie, and it's called Let It Shine. We were both burned as adults, and I just loved working with her because we got to talk about how the experience of injury has overlapped or affected our experience as women. The energy in that painting is so light, and her energy really matched that. It feels amazing to work with my community. It feels like doing a self-portrait in a way. I know the paintings are of other people, but I also need them around me to, I think, normalize my own life. I think anybody who is positioned as like an other or has a marginalized identity, we need our people around us, and it's just been so joyful and vibrant to start new conversations with people as I've painted them. It's important to highlight these voices because we deserve it, because we have so much to teach everyone about how to not only survive but thrive in our world. You know, we live in a time of a lot of change. We know what it's like to live through the worst pain imaginable and then keep living. And I think that that's a lesson that we need to learn right now.